Sometimes there can be a major problem on your job, and that problem is that your boss is sexually inappropriate. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. One of the things that can tend to happen is that your boss is very sexually focused and very sexually inappropriate and is constantly pushing the line, trying to see what they can get away with, or even doing things quid pro quo, which is give me something in order to get a little something, if you know what I mean. So there can be situations where he's asking you to perform some things in order to get an advancement or to get things that you are entitled to. And you could switch the roles. It could be he or she. For the simplicity's sake of this video, I'll just use he. But, this is something that's fairly common where, you can have a boss or supervisor that's making inappropriate comments, that's trying to DM you or trying to connect with you on social media outside of work, that's making, they can be hyper focused on how you look, what you're wearing, what your figure looks like, and things of that nature, and just hyper focus on that. So I'll give you an example. I remember when I was in internship, and I had already like figured in my mind that the supervisor I had, I knew he was going to get in trouble because he just couldn't contain himself. I was the only black girl there, so I was insignificant. I was safe in terms of, he wasn't attracted to me, but there were all, I worked with a bunch of younger white women that were very slender. And so this boss, he would make all kinds of comments about these girls, these women that I worked with. Oh, you need to get your little tush in here. We're ready to start this meeting. Oh my goodness, she's got a great little tush, and he just couldn't contain himself. And there was always something about somebody's tush or bottom, or some sort of fixation about how they look, whether or not they've gained weight, things like that. And it just every day, without fail, here we go. And it wasn't the only job, but I had another supervisor that called himself being over the top. He was also, I already knew there was a problem with him, but he would be fixated on what you wore to work. It's not professional enough. You need to switch out your shirt. It's not professional. Every day it was somebody that shirt or some pants or something like that was not professional enough. And it got to the point where it's like, what the heck is going on? You're wearing business casual, you're wearing clothes like that. But every day some girl would have something to wear. It was fixated on that, and it would send people home for that, even though they looked fine. And he was kind of constantly staring at the chest and things like that. And so, years down the line, he got into some trouble for being sexually inappropriate as well. And sometimes it can even extend, that sexual preoccupation can extend to, bosses getting angry with you, feeling possessive over you, like you're mine. I don't like the fact that you're married, you have a husband, or you have children. They may lash out at you by trying to get you to work extra, so therefore you don't have time to spend with people outside of work. They would try to create ways for you guys to spend time outside of work together. Come in to the office on Saturday. You have to work, or we have this off-site team meeting and it's going to go until 9 p.m., that kind of stuff. Or I have a work trip and you need to go. And so therefore your assistance is required. There can also be a level of nosiness. So if your cell phone rings, who is that and what do they want? Or someone calls you at the office, what do they want with you here? Or tell them that they can't call here anymore. So that level of possession, like, and I'm saying that as long as it's not impeding your job, but they can be over the top in that they don't want you to talk to anybody or have any interactions with anybody. They can try to humble you in front of your other colleagues so that other people won't necessarily want to work with you or be, try to connect with you and things like that. So they can really sort of keep you all to themselves. Other things that they can do is try to keep you from getting your promotion or paying you a paycheck altogether until you do this. Until you make yourself available to me in this way, or because you didn't do this or make yourself available to me in this way, you're not going to get a promotion. You're not going to get your paycheck. Um, things of that nature. And this kind of stuff really happens. I had a physician, once very successful physician, who also had some stuff like this that he got into trouble for, where several women in his office made some serious allegations, and it went downhill from there. But other things he was doing is he was driving by women's homes and things like that, calling them and threatening, getting angry, over the top, angry, and things like that. So this stuff can get really serious where not only are they making their advances towards you, they get angry with you if you do not give in to their advances, and they can make your job hell on earth, and just make it very uncomfortable and very weird. And then other people at your job can start teasing you. Oh, there goes your man. There goes the person that you're clocking. But I've also had female supervisors do this too. Um, you know, where they were hyper focused on men at the job. When I worked in corrections, I've talked about this, where, you have you have people that are hyper focused on having affairs outside of their marriage. And so one of the things that would happen would, you know, even with female supervisors, they would be very flirty with the officers, and if the officers turn them down, oh my goodness, it'd be hell for every all the subordinates underneath them, because people do not like rejection. And so you could clock it when they got rejected. Or if the person that they were fixated on liked you or liked somebody else, it's you become a target. They literally try to take you out, get you fired, and make your life at the workplace hell. In that you can develop these dynamics. And so I don't recommend fraternization at the workplace, that kind of stuff. But female supervisors can get very aggressive and very territorial over men who work at the workplace as well. So I've seen it go both ways, and I've seen it have um, a very detrimental outcome for everybody involved, including the people who are you're just there to do your job and go home. You're there to do your 8 and skate. And so I don't want to be bothered with your saga at the job, just because you want to flirt with some dude, and he doesn't care. He's not into you. But people take that so seriously, and as an innocent bystander or as an innocent employee, you could definitely feel the wrath even when you have nothing to do with it, or you're just there to do your job, and so you're not inviting anything from anybody. So let me know what you guys think if you've experienced this, and what your thoughts about this are. So give me a like, share, and a follow if you choose to do so. Definitely subscribe to my newsletter, which is my first link in my bio. And thanks so much.